really got to keep stirring this stuff up because the sand will just settle to the bottom. And actually, the last time I did it, there was a bunch of sand, like larger grain sand, all settled to the bottom. And no matter how much I tried to incorporate it while I was laying down the Elise, it's still all sunk to the bottom. I'm just going to use this smaller brush for getting some of these smaller, delicate areas, and then I'll get out the big brush. And I found that sort of working your way up makes it less likely for you to drip the Elise paint all over the floor, because it'll sort of run down the brush onto the wall instead of the other way around, running down the brush onto your hand. It looks kind of uneven for this base coat, but once I get the second coat on, it should look much more uniform and also a deeper color of pigment. So we'll see how that goes. But you can definitely notice the red ochre. It's not like a deep red, it's almost like a rusty red when you mix it with the rest of the Elise, but I suspect that when this dries it'll look much redder than it does right now. This house is kind of funny because I think it has the most outlets per like square foot of any house at Dancing Rabbit, or probably anywhere in the world. But you can see it's like one there, one there, one there, one there, like all in this little corner. The guy who built this house called it Arm's Reach, and he must have had some idea in mind for all of these outlets. I think he had a like huge power system considering the tiny size of his house. But it comes in convenient. I mean, it's not like I can't make use of these. At least they're there if I need them, but don't need this many outlets. Doing sort of this circular brush after you apply it works it into some of the cracks that might be there, covers up the imperfections, and it also seems to even out the sand distribution, because the sand adds some texture to it, but you don't want it all in one place. And doing this sort of circular movement when you're finishing off an area seems to distribute the pigment better, the sand, and covers the space better, more evenly. This is what I did when I did the fresco and added pigment to my lime plaster on the exterior of my house. But like, this is one of the areas right here that I repaired, and when we're finished with this Elise, you shouldn't be able to tell that there was any repair really done on that area. It should all just look like one color blended together. And even like little tiny cracks get filled in with the sand in this Elise and just cover up all those imperfections. It's really kind of cool how it works. You can really see the texture that the sand in this scratch coat, the base coat of this Elise leaves behind, it makes the wall texture so much more interesting. And it also distracts you from some of the imperfections in the wall as well. Some of these spots didn't quite get as much of the sand texture on, but I'm getting better, learning better how to apply it. This is with just the red ochre layer painted on. You can see what a huge difference it's making. That's the sort of ugly wall with a lot of imperfections in it. And then you can see a lot less of them, and this is only the base coat, so I still have more pigment to add that will make that a darker red. The ochre is a little bit harder to see, but it definitely makes a difference as far as covering up some of the imperfections in the wall. I ran out pretty early of the yellow, but you can also see the great texture that it adds. This is such a great way to repair natural plaster though, because you know, like this, you can't really tell very well that it's been repaired, that a crack has been filled, but once this Elise is put on over it, you won't really see it at all. And this is something that, you know, in future years, if tenants continue to abuse the walls, as I'm sure they will, they can always put on other coats to cover up any kind of marks that are made. It's just like paint. I've finished the first coat, the base coat, that has the sand in it. And the walls look just so much better than they did before. And they have a little bit of design work in them. Nothing super fancy, but looks much better than it did before. And now I'm about ready to put the top coat on that has no sand in it, and that should make this pigment look much darker. We're going to be continuing this video series, so just hold your horses if you want to see the next stage of the process. It's coming soon. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share and give a thumbs up to the video, and we'll see you next time when we are doing the top coat of this Clay Elise natural paint.